Hello again. This is devotional number 9. This is Monday on the week dealing with coins. And the title of this is Lost and Found Coins. And it covers Luke chapter 15, verses 8 through 10. Or what woman, having 10 silver coins, if she loses one of them, does not light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? When she has found it, she calls together her friends and neighbors, saying, "Rejoice with me, for I have found the coin that I had lost." Just so, I tell you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Now, this parable falls in between a couple of well-known ones, the parable of the lost sheep and the parable of the prodigal son. And all three of them tie together. There's a whole slew of parables in here in this section of Luke. It's a vast collection of Jesus' teachings. But this one, unlike the sheep and the prodigal son, this one's, you've lost an object, you've lost a coin now, but a coin can be something of great value. I mean, when we lose something of value, we search for it everywhere. This woman went to the trouble and expense of lighting a lamp, which we think nothing of in our day and age. We think nothing of flicking on the lights and, putting the flashlight on our cell phones, trying to find something. We think nothing of it. But for this woman, for any person in Jesus' time, lighting a lamp was an expensive proposition. Even if it was something as simple as a rush light, it was still a very expensive proposition. It was a huge expense. Any kind of artificial light at night in that time and place was a huge expense. And it wasn't very good light. I mean, it was very weak, but it was also very expensive. So that's why most people, their day began and ended with the sun. I mean, you got up when the sun was up and you went to bed when the sun went down, because there really was very little to do. There was very little you could see. And you're in a world of absolute darkness. There is no light anywhere other than the stars and the moon. So this is a huge deal that she's going to these lengths and to this trouble. So this coin is obviously extremely important and very valuable to her. This is not something that's I'll look for it in the morning kind of thing. This is something hugely important. So this is having lost something of great value. If you've ever misplaced your wedding rings, or, misplaced your house keys, or, misplaced something that's really vital, you look and you will turn over everything to try to find it. You're getting ready to travel and you can't find your passport, you're going to rip up the house to try to find it. So therefore, her joy at the discovery of this coin is something that's so great that she wants to share it with her neighbors and with her friends. I can't say I've ever been that excited about finding a coin, but there are other things that, yes, when, my joy is so exuberant and, flowing out of me that I have to call and tell people things. I think we've all been in that place. When you find out you got a new job, or when, whatever, you got this wonderful news, or you got the house, or you just bought a new car, or whatever it is, and you're so excited. And so you want to hurry up and call and tell people so that you can celebrate, because it's a wonderful thing. In typical Jesus fashion, this parable is using an example that all of his audience could relate to tell a larger story. He's talking about something we would all recognize. We've lost something really valuable and important, and we found it, and that feeling that you get, oh, isn't it great? That's what the joy of heaven is like over someone who repents. That's what he's using something that we understand, that we've all experienced, to be able to show us something that we've never experienced, that we've never seen. And he does that a lot. And sometimes the parables, I know that feeling. I think we all know that feeling of joy. So I get this one. There's others we have a harder time with. There's others we miss the point on. But this is one of those that's just a little story that it's just very easy for us to relate to. Coins are something that we all understand. We all understand they carry a value. We all understand how important they can be. And when we're little kids, think how much we loved to get coins. Think about all the kids when we do our noisy collection who have the best time making all that noise with all those coins in those trays. It's something that, and we all smile and we all have a great time when we do it. It's important. And those small coins add up to something big. But they can also become lost, just like we can. Anything can become lost, or anyone, but they can also be found, just like we can. Anything that is lost is found. Now that we live in this internet age, the idea of nothing's ever truly gone. If you think about it, in a lot of cases, anything that's been on the internet is never really truly gone. When we have things up in the cloud, when we have things, all over that we've posted in places and people have liked them, it's really hard for things to ever truly be gone. Now we have, all the video, all the audio that we have on each other, whether we realize it or not, that we can still see our loved ones who are gone. We still have their image. We still can hear their voice. We still can see how they moved and what they sounded like. That's not always been the case. It's only been in the last 150 years or so that you knew what someone looked like without ever having met them, because you have a photograph. Up until that time, you never knew what anyone looked like, with the possible exception of the king or the queen, because they were on the money. You didn't know what people looked like unless you'd met them in person. So this idea of people being lost, yes and no. It's much harder for us to be lost than it ever was before. The important thing to remember is that the joy and the rejoicing and the remembrance, that those never go away, that those will be here in this life and in the next, that there's just as much joy and rejoicing in heaven, if not more so, than there are here. So here's some things to think about. Have you ever lost something of value to you? I think we probably all have. If you found it, how did you feel when you discovered it? Think back to that feeling. What small daily discovery reminds you of God's presence and providence? A penny, a bird, a word or phrase. What has been a cause for such joy that you had to find others to rejoice with you? I think that's a fun one to think about, because that's going to remind us of so many fun times in our lives and all the things we wanted so much to share with one another. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have, and I will be back with you very soon. See you later.